Many people use youths or children to bulldoze themselves into power. They don't take any regards of the safety of the countries or the welfare of the countries. Now we want to talk about what is the role of the children to avoid bloodshed during election. Thank you.
Okay, as we deliver the speech, let's ensure that we are quiet, because when you're not quiet, you are not able to listen. So kindly give us easy time, okay? Mad, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, today I will be going back on the topic of peace and comfort when it comes to elections and how to make an election peaceful, inshallah ta'ala. Right? So, the first topic is, let's start off with the fact again. 40% of the community and the population are children under 18, preteens. 40% of the population are preteens, teenagers, and children, inshallah. And the other 60% are over 18, adults that already lived life, went through experiences, went through the challenges, went through the responsibilities, and everything in between. We are still coming up, and I truly believe that empowerment, motivation, kind words can go a long way in building the future for a lot of people. If we use the example of 100 years back, there wasn't a lot of things that we had right now. Skyscrapers right now that go to amazing lengths weren't even thought of back then, subhanAllah. And now we created things that make us look like we could do anything, subhanAllah ta'ala. And thinking that we could do something like that should help us motivate the future of the kids to do better for themselves, to create better for themselves, and to rely on themselves to become the best they can, subhanAllah. And inshallah ta'ala, I am hoping that all the adults in the room leave with a word of advice and become better people and motivate, encourage, and support the youngsters in the school that you guys are help creating into brilliant people. When I look into the crowd right now, I see the future doctors, lawyers, and politicians of the world. And I truly believe if you guys are motivated to do the right thing, you guys can do incredible things and reach incredible lengths, because we've proved multiple times that we are capable of doing unimaginable things. Right now, the main transportation for humans is planes that started off with two people with a dream and truly had confidence in it. Even though they failed over and over and over again, they got up twice that much and to try to be the better of themselves. Second topic is building a communication, relationship, and a bond with your elders. The people that you are looking around that are older than you, they already went through everything you are yet to go through. They went through the challenges, the difficulties, and all the responsibilities that met them in between. And if you go to them with confidence and without any shyness, and you actually have true intentions of being a better person, I truly believe the people around you can encourage you to being the next best thing, inshallah ta'ala. And in doing so, I bring in the next guest, Zainab Hassan, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, so I just want to talk about the use of technology and rallies. So, since many children have access to social media platforms, they should use that platform to promote peaceful elections. Children should send peaceful messages to the masses through social media to create public awareness and peaceful elections. Next up is rallies. Children are encouraged to hold public rallies that denounce and detest any form of election irregularities that may lead to past election violence. And next up is students.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to talk about a role in peaceful elections. A role I would like to talk about is the children's involvement in peaceful elections. Children should be involved in making decisions and political elections so they are able to understand the importance of having and holding peaceful elections. This can be used to bring more leadership skills that people can use in the future. For an example, if anyone wants to become an entrepreneur, they can understand that a specific role to become an entrepreneur is an entrepreneur innovates new ideas and is an innovator. If children make decisions, they feel like they can be heard and their ideologies can be tested in making peaceful decisions for peaceful elections. Another important role in peaceful elections for children is children empowerment. Some greedy politicians take advantage of young children for their greedy gains. This can be avoided if the government provides adequate financial support to these children so they can have a third-party security support. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ikram. I'm going to talk about mass media interviews. The government should encourage TV channels and radio stations to hold interviews with children to teach more about danger and post-election violence. Role models. Children should have political role models with clean political records. They should emulate these role models and acknowledge their political policies and political non-violence.
Inshallah ta'ala, Yahya, Farah, next.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. I am here to talk about two topics. One is the participation of children in political campaigns and the vigilance of children. For the political campaigns, children should be encouraged to engage in those campaigns as they will help the children to understand the challenges the community faces and for them to feel a sense of appreciation and recognition in their communities. It will also help them to guide what is happening in their community and help them to decide what should be done and what shouldn't be done for their communities. The next topic is vigilance. Children should be vigilant of what happens in their communities and their society, because if they see and continue to hear hateful speech, the people of the communities and the societies will go to resent other people and cause violence. So if children see hateful speech, they should tell the authorities so it can be stopped, so violence can be avoided. Thank you all.
Inshallah ta'ala, next up, Khadir Muhammad. Word of advice, I hope everyone here is deeply taking in what we're saying, inshallah ta'ala. And from there, put the mic on the thing when you're talking, okay?
Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to be talking about tribalism. So I think tribalism is something that has divided many communities and has instigated many acts of violence. So if we were to take this into consideration, then I think it would be logical to draw the conclusion that violence would serve as an antithesis to peace, which is what we are all about. So if all the people here would not want to teach their future generation, their kids, about violence because they think it's morally wrong, ethical value, then why would they want to teach their kids about tribalism, racism, and religious prejudice, right? When religious prejudice, racism, and tribalism directly pertain to violence. And the next topic I'd like to talk about is talents. So I think talents are kind of misunderstood in the community, right? Because a lot of kids seem to think that talent is only limited to what they want to do, right? But talent can be anything. You could start something right now, like you could start leading a team and you could be very good at it. You wouldn't know, 'cause that's because it's a hidden talent. So I think most of the leaders in our world, they never knew that they were going to be a leader for the world. It just happened because they found out they were good at it. It's not like you guys, even everybody here, one of you guys could potentially become a leader. So I just like everybody to rethink their actions and hopefully try to see what they're good at in order to compromise peace.
Okay, thank you. As we maintain silence, thank you, my panelists. May you be blessed. I would like to invite the chairman or the chairperson of this club, Mr. Abdullah, to share with us something he has. So welcome, Mr. Abdullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Senior Assistant County Commissioner, Sli Division, Mr. Thomas Okoth. Assistant County Commissioner, Pumwani Division, Madam Fatma Yusuf. Unfortunately, she's not with us today. Sheikh Salim Charo, Board Member of Agents of Peace. Chairman of District of Peace Committee, Mr. Kennedy Iziki. Mr. Muhammad Abdurazak Abdullahi, Agents of Peace Director. Our visitors. Our visiting peace clubs and their patrons and matrons from different schools. Our directors, teachers, and fellow students. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Rosa Lux Uzumbak Stephen for supporting our mentorship through the partnership of Agents of Peace and officers of the Assistant County Commissioner, Sli Division. As for me, my name is Ahmed Nur Abdullah. I'm the head boy of this school and a member of the Peaceful Agents and their chairman. Across the world, young people are on the move to actively engage the development of this beautiful continent, building peace and preventing violence. As the chairman of Muhimun Peace Ambassadors Peace Club, I'm working hard to promote the full participation of young people in peaceful building. African Union Continental Framework on Youth, Peace, Security, PCV, and Social Cohesion at community level. The young people from the tender age of as 10 years old today constitute the majority population in countries affected by armed conflict and electoral violence, as we remember what happened in Camp Church 2007 and 8. Children and women were burnt alive while they were in a church. Imagine that. This is why today's theme is the role of children in a peaceful election in Kenya. Engaging young people is not only demographically necessity, but a democratic imperative and a vital avenue for accountability of institutions to their mandates and the people they represent. Recognizing our full potential in terms of inclusivity and participation in advancing peaceful elections before, during and after general elections in Kenya, it's not only important but also a powerful tool for advancing peace coexistence, peace building, and social cohesion among our diverse communities in Kenya. We, the young people, demand our contribution to influence the promotion and participation of peace, security at grassroots level, to recognize as critical bridge and that supports and shapes the development of our beloved country. We have played our different and diverse critical roles in the implementation and domesticating the African Youth Charters, African Union Continental Framework, UNSCR 2250, by involving young people from the age of 15 to 35 years to build a societal trust leading and resilience across generations with supports and mentorship from agents of peace, Luxembourg Stiffing. However, today, people, both men and women, face multiple challenges and also vulnerable to violence. Extremist groups with different ideologies, beliefs and goals, and also from their respective states as they deemed patriots of violence and threats both national and global security and stability, whether they direct or indirect victims of these armed groups. As the young people of this beautiful continental of Africa, we, the pillars of the drivers of positive change in the development of society, because we are more futuristic, more idealistic, more innovative, more willing to take risks to ensure the safety, well-being and peaceful coexistence of our communities, from preventing and countering violence, extremism, participation of peace building, transforming conflict. We, the young people, are on the move and we are highly engaging ourselves to transform Africa. With that few remarks, I would like to thank you all. Welcome to Mehaimun Education Center, the home of shining stars.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. I think we're heading towards the end of the program. And from this point, I'm going to hand over to the Agents of Peace Director, who will come here share with us one or two, after which he will invite our guests. After the guests have spoken, I think the event will come to an end. So welcome the Director of the Agent of Peace, Mr. Mohammed.
So, my name is Muhammad Abdullahi. I'm the director and founder of Agents of Peace. The work of Agents of Peace is to make sure that whether you are a child, a youth, a teenage, or an old man, it's your right to live in peace. Are you together? And I want to expose the young, talented students to live, that they can play a vital role to make sure that Sli, Kampunji, Nairobi County, Kenya, and the world is a peaceful environment. Are we together? Am I right? Yes. The mentorship is funded by Rosa Luxembourg Stiffing in partnership with Senior Assistant County Commissioner of Kampunji, Sli Division, Mr. Tobias Okos, whom we work with his office directly and involve our activities. The reason as to why we started the mentorship is because we have seen our young people need to play a key role in advancing peace and security within our community. Before I call the guest, I would like to invite the chair and the board member of Agents of Peace, Sheikh Salim Charo. Then I will invite District Peace Committee or Kamukunji County Peace Committee Chairman, Mr. Kennedy Isigi, who will invite our chief guest. Mr. Salim Sheikh, kindly welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Yani mnanikaribisha kama mgeni mheshimiwa. So nafikiri kiongea Kiswahili sitachoma sana. Okay, I'm privileged and honored to be here, and secondly, seeing the young people like you, or children. You are barely 18 years, so you are children, right? And some of you are teenagers, and others are also almost, maybe a year or two, they'll be adults. So I think today's theme is about the role of children when it comes to elections. So as children, how does election affect us? Kuna vile election inatu affect. Number one, we don't vote, we don't vie. So how does election affect us? It affects us indirectly. We've heard from, I think, Abdile, or the chair reading his speech, that in 2007, that was the climax and the worst history that has ever happened in this country. Children were burnt, and most unfortunate, in a place of worship due to elections. We have 2017. If you ever heard of Baby Pendo, she was an infant. She died of a bullet wound. At her age, hata hajui who was vying, and I think it's the case that we read in Quran. Wa idhal mau'udatu su'ilat bi ayyi dhanbin qutilat. Okay? So this is how elections affect us. And we do have other cases. We had a scenario in, I think, wanitaji, is it somewhere pahali mawe lirushwa a month ago. So all these are effects of elections. So, but kabla itufikie, we have a responsibility, also as children. So when we hear of children, let us not think that, so we are children that we cannot take part, even in some decision making. We've heard from those who talked before me. But I think one thing which is important, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam also did what? Tried to talk to his father, despite him being, he told him, Ya abati lima ta'budi. Okay? Yeah, he tried to talk to his father. So you have a role as a child. As much as our parents are trying to side with whichever candidate they are vying na nini, let us not forget we have a role. Where support whoever you are supporting, but do not have or create hatred towards other parties or other candidates. You have that responsibility. Sababu mimi najua kuna wazazi saa hii anaweza kuambia hapa kwa hii nyumba system ni bottom up. Sitaki kusikia mambo ya 6,000. Okay? So some ground rules are being set. We've seen videos in social media. Children as young as less than 5 years, chanting, so and so tosha, this tosha, that one tosha. They are being influenced by adults. Okay? We also have a role to talk to one another. Kwa sababu at least najua hata sisi, as much as we are not will not be voting, but at least we have our a candidate ambao tuna prefer. Mtu anakaa fikiria, so by the time maybe I'm a candidate, by the time huyo akiingia alafu niwe napata 6,000 every month for free. I'm being rewarded for being jobless. So, you know, at least ushaanza kucalculate 2 years ahead. So at least you are taking sides. But what of those who think of the other candidate? And you start, you know, the insults, kutukanana na nini. So I think our responsibility and our role is adinu nasiha. Tushauriane. Yesterday, for those who are football lovers, fans, okay? Wangapi walikuwa na support Egypt? None. Nataka Liverpool, sio? So, but more importantly, you know, it's a game, we must have a winner. But it does not mean that these are enemies. We had Mane there. They were rivals in yesterday's match. We had Mohamed Salah. They were rivals. They lost. And then they'll go back to Europe in the same club. So does it mean they are enemies? So I think this is what we are supposed to have. Okay, let me try to be a bit faster. I think we have a system nowadays in schools or learning institutions where we have leaders who are democratically elected. We go through a process, and I had, during the introduction, I heard there was such a process. That's how people vote. But did we have, you know, stone throwing, people contesting, apana, minaona? You know, we didn't have that. You know, these are some of the things that we need. And also, when there is violence, it affects us as children. And, you know, children are more vulnerable. We've seen in countries where there are, you know, issues or crises. Let's talk of Ethiopia, because it's somehow, it's a pre-election that, you know, caused whatever is ongoing in Ethiopia. And we have, you know, a humanitarian crisis. Who are suffering? Children. Okay? Then when children suffer, their mothers. You know, men are the ones who are in arms. You know, they are fighting. So, if you don't take up this role to ensure that you try how much you can prevent this, we'll end up having, you know, issues. I realize we do have so much adhan. So I don't know which one to respond to. I responded to the first one. But I think it's important whenever adhan is being raised, at least we listen to adhan, we respond to adhan. So I respond to the first one, so you'll bear with me, I'll just proceed, inshallah. Last year we had an incident where the head of state, he was about to give his speech in Tanzania, and then he had to pause until adhana was over, and then he was baptized what? Mbona mnaka hamwendi na rada? He was baptized Jaden. Yeah, they assume that he's a Muslim for that. And also education is affected, because when there is violence, you know, there'll be no learning. Okay? Yeah, and you know, when you have stability, policies, you know, laws are enacted to ensure that well-being of children is also looked into. You know, talking of health, education, and so on. And I'd like also to mention two things before I wind up. I just want to see, by raise of hand, if there is anyone who wrote an application letter to be in a certain community that he belongs to. None. Okay, so this is how Allah created us. So you're born a Somali, you're born a Swahili, Mgiriama, Mkikuyu, Jaluo, and so on. Okay? You did not choose to be that. Wewe ulijikuta tu hata saa ingine ni kuuliza unaulizaga. Mambo no, you are Somali, you are this clan, you are this tribe. Okay? So that does not make you better than any other tribe. No one chose to be the color or the whatever the color that you are. Yeah, but I realize nowadays ladies can choose to change. But more importantly, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking of the natural one. Okay? You did not choose to be who you are. So I think trying to base things based on tribal issues, race and so on. That's an Islamic. We know that Islam teaches that. And also the other thing I would like us to talk, since we don't have enough time, is extremism. And I've realized breeding grounds nowadays are high schools, okay, internet, okay, and some things. Islam was not meant to for extremes or extremists. It's about balancing. Islam is about peace and love. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. So what you're supposed to do, we also have a role and responsibility to pray for our country. We have a dua, Allahumma aminna fi awtanina. Oh Allah, give us peace in our countries. And also let's use social media positively. Don't use it for insults, insulting others and funny stuff that we do. Can we use it to try and influence others to do what? To have a peaceful election process. And also let's also use our talents and art to do what? To preach peace. So finally, when you're having this program, the next school that will be having such a program, at least jipangeni vizuri, mujipange, sawa? And you come up with issues on how, or number one, what issues that are affecting the country. What are possible solutions on how you as a child, as a youth, how we can go about it. Jaribu kukava kila kitu. Kuja na shida, kuja na solution. And also mujipange vizuri. Okay? And then through us and see how we are going to proceed with this more of this. Sometimes back I was a teacher and I happen to be also imam. So when I find a platform like this, nikiona watu tu maneno tu inatoka tu. So I just feel like talking. So shukran jazakumullah khair.
Asante sana Bwana Imam. Yeah. Senior SEC, CEO, Agent of Peace, teachers, and students, good evening. I'm trying to find a space, because I know, I'm trying to find a space because I know for teachers, the way they are trained, you are supposed to face people. And but because it is the way it is today, I'm happy that today I'm talking to students, because I was once a student some years back, but we are talking on issues affecting the community, and we students or pupils or children, we are part of the community. But today I'll talk to you directly on your role as a student, your responsibility in the community, and also crime and how it affects you as a student. One, your responsibility as a student, you are supposed to make sure you are disciplined, follow rules and regulations set by the school, respect and help your parents outside there at home, and then help small duties. I'm not saying that you'll do the duties that are not small duties assigned to you by your parents, small duties. Because when you are doing those small duties, it doesn't mean that your parents are misusing you. No. Help them. Number two, crime. Don't engage in criminal activities. They'll affect you in future. I know here in Isli, I'll talk about Isli, there are criminal organizations, and you know them, Please don't be part of those organizations. Then let me talk about election. Election is a way to elect a leader. And I know among you there are leaders. We have the president, we have the chairmen. It's only a way of electing leaders that are supposed to give us direction. When we are electing these leaders, please don't engage in issues that are not sanctioned by the norms, regulation, or disrupt the life of others, or violate the rights of others. Please, as students, don't do that. And then lastly, make sure you are well-behaved, good morals and characters, because you are a leader after this school. You will engage in development activities of the society, of the country after this school. Please behave properly, be of good character. With those few remarks, it is my humble duty to invite the Senior Assistant County Commissioner, Kamkunji, to give his remarks. So welcome, SEC.
I want to believe that I will be heard from the farthest end. I would want to highly request the organizers of the event that next time when we have such an event, kindly please assist us have a public address system so that everyone in the room can be able to get what is being said. And I know it was probably a little oversight, but next time it will be improved upon. My names are Tobias Onyango Okoth. I'm the Senior Assistant County Commissioner in charge of Kamukunji as the Assistant County Commissioner 1 and also the Assistant County Commissioner Isili Division. So I'm here on behalf of the DCC, but I'm also here on behalf of myself as the person in charge of Isili Division. I want to take this opportunity first and foremost to be able to appreciate and recognize this particular event as the greatest demonstration of participation and involvement of young people in matters peace in the history of the whole of Kamkunji and not only of Isili division. I also want to take this opportunity to request you to assist me appreciate the speakers that have spoken here, from the students up to the last speaker who has stood before us, and that is the Peace Chairman Kamukunji Sub-County. The reason is, when I was listening to the students, I was getting an eloquent English-speaking team that tells me that teachers who are involved in teaching these particular students have done a lot of groundwork. I was wondering whether I was actually in Britain or in Kenya because of the eloquence of the students that have spoken before us these days. And I want to appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not able to get an opportunity to stand here, let us have the silence that we had actually had before I had to get off, because that is my boss who was speaking with me, the DCC. I had to give him the respect that he deserves. So sorry for that interruption. I was saying that I want to appreciate the teachers. I also want to appreciate the students that stood here and were able to articulate their issues so eloquently that I believe each one of us was able to pick something that is going to assist us. And I was saying that even if you do not have the opportunity, because only a few had to speak at that time, but I want to also appreciate you for being here. And it has made me to take a mental flight back to days when I was a student. And during those days, I want to tell you that you people are so much blessed, because you have been given opportunity to be able to give your own mind, and also to be able to give your recommendation and proposal on how you want to be involved in issues to do with elections and to prevent violence during elections. During our time, nobody will give you such a chance. A teacher or an administrator will come up here and will be able to issue instructions and tell you that from now onwards, when I ask you how high to jump, you ask how high. You don't question why you need to jump. But now we are in a situation whereby even the government of Kenya wants to involve the students, the young people, to be able to share, participate actively, and give out what they think is the best way in which they can be able to be involved and we can be able to participate on issues touching on their lives. I like so much, because I also was once a teacher. I taught in high school for 5 years. So I'm actually reliving the time as I stand before you today. And I want to tell you this, that it is good to appreciate when something good is being done. And I normally like using the analogy of an animal called a lizard. How many know a lizard? How many know of an animal called a lizard? Now, some of us may know a lizard, but we have never taken our time to analyze the behavior of a lizard. So I want to just take part and talk about part of the behavior of a lizard that normally interests me. And I normally use it to be able to inform people that it is good to appreciate. And if people do not want to appreciate the good that you have done, you are allowed to appreciate it yourself. A lizard is very interesting when it wants to jump from a higher ground. Maybe it's a wall or a tree. Whenever a lizard jumps to the ground, take your time and watch the behavior of a lizard. First, a lizard will never ever fall down on its back or on its side. It will always drop majestically on its forelimbs. How it does that is a mystery. But it always lands on its what? Forelimbs. When a lizard drops next to you, don't run away. Just take your time and look at the behavior. The lizard, after dropping majestically, will look left, right, nod its head, then it begins to move. That's how it behaves. So one time I asked a wise old man why the lizard does that. And this is what he was able to tell me. That when a lizard jumps majestically and stylishly down to the ground, without actually falling on its back or on its sides, it looks left and right for appreciation. And when no one appreciates it, it says, even though they don't want to recognize that I've done good, actually I have done what? I have done good. So I want you today to take the opportunity and appreciate yourself for what you have done, and appreciate the teachers and the organizers, the agents of peace and the rest for organizing such an event for us by giving a hearty clap. Can we go? Thank you so much. I want to inform you this day that there is nothing as important as having peace and security whenever we are. You cannot, even if you bring professors who have got great ideas to be able to bring development where we are, even if you pour a lot of funds and we get the funds from the World Bank or IMF or from whatever sponsors we can be able to get, but we lack peace and security, we cannot develop. And that is why I want to this day use an analogy of two animals. There is a gazelle and a sheep. Between the two animals, which one looks fatter than the other one? The sheep, isn't it? Now look at how these animals and the kind of environment in which they survive are. The sheep, the gazelle is a free animal. It exists in the wilderness. It can eat whenever it wants. It can go to the river and drink whenever it wants. Nobody controls them, isn't it? It can eat whenever it wants. There is grass outside there, and they can eat the grass and eat whatever they want to eat at any time that they feel like, even midnight. But the sheep is a slave to the shepherd. Are we together? It is a slave to who? The shepherd, who will decide to take them to the river when they want, take them to the ground, take them to the ground to go and feed whenever they want, so that a sheep may even have only 2 hours throughout the whole 12 hours to feed. But the gazelle has the 24 hours to do what? To feed. Yet the sheep is fatter than the gazelle. What is the trick? And I want to tell you the trick. Though the gazelle has all the time to go and feed whenever it wants, the freedom with no control, the gazelle lacks one very important thing that the sheep has, and that is peace and security. The gazelle goes to the field to feed. It will be able to munch 1, 2, 3, look left and right if there is a leopard or a lion coming, so that they are not at peace at any given time. That is why the gazelle cannot be as fat as the sheep. The sheep, even though it has only 2 hours to feed, he has got all the security of the shepherd, and he has got also the peace of mind that there is nothing that is going to interfere with their lives. So what does that tell us? That if we don't have peace amongst ourselves, we cannot have a proper elections, and we know that elections are important, as I am going to demonstrate, and therefore we have to participate in the elections, but ensure that we participate peacefully, and we must ensure that we have our safety and lives intact by the end of the elections, even as we go along living our lives on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, elections are very important, because that is the only means which has been designed to be able to pick 1 or 2 people from the community to stand on behalf of us in running our affairs. Our, not theirs, but our affairs. And therefore, the system has been placed, and like Mwalimu said it is like a game where we have 2 teams or more teams, but then we want these games to be played peacefully so that we can have a winner. But we are not necessarily looking for the loser. The loser will only come automatically, but we are looking for the winner. So the question that always comes in is, if this is a game and there is a ref, which is IBC, practice and then an exercise and go to the field and play honorably and come out a winner, and or alternatively a loser, but a very, very proud loser, who will then embrace the winner so that we continue developing our nations. So as I was listening, and I heard ways in which the young people are going to participate in the elections, one way or the other, you cannot ignore it. Because maybe your father, your uncle, your friend is one of the contestants, or even where you are, there is somebody who you are living with, whose brother, sister, friend, or just somebody whom he believes that can be able to lead is coming from. So the question is, why should we fight? Is fighting necessary? It is not. And let me tell you today, and in the language of Professor Magoha, you can take it to the bank, that nobody benefits from violence. Nobody, even the people who instigate it, end up being losers. Nobody benefits from violence. After every violence, you will find that you have lost one way or the other. Whether you are the person who instigated it, or you just find yourself riding on it. Always, all of us becomes losers when it comes to violence. And that is why we tell the young people that let us join the peace club. The agents, an agent is to be able to actually spearhead peace during this time of elections, because it is peace which has got benefits and violence have got no rooms in our lives. In that respect, ladies and gentlemen, there are young, let me discriminatively use it, the young men. We have the politicians. These politicians will want to solicit for your support in throwing stones and making a noise in their names, so that you end up fighting with your brother or a fellow students, because Sasa, the father, or him is supporting the other person, and you are also supporting another person, but there is nowhere you will find the two politicians fighting. There is nowhere you will find their children involved in those fights. You will not find their children in the rallies. So the question is, why should I go and join a rally, get involved in a fight, end up being injured, or even dead for that matter, while the person you claim to be fighting for is busy enjoying himself or herself in a nice hotel, only to end up also in the nice palace where he lives with his family? It is not necessary. So let us preach to our friends, let us preach to fellow students, let us preach to our neighbors that peace is the most important thing that we need to profess today, tomorrow, and in future. As I look at you today, I see great leaders of tomorrow. When I look at these ladies, even as they were speaking here, my mind was running to the president of Tanzania, Madam Suluhu, Her Excellency Suluhu. Nilikuwa naona Suluhu akisimama hapa akiongelesha watu. That is what I want to see in future. Them becoming great leaders. Our young men here becoming presidents, becoming technocrats, becoming chairmen, becoming CEOs, you see. But we will not be able to attain that if we joke around with our freedom, if we joke around with our peace at this particular this particular time. As I said, it is not only peaceful election. Violence, be it violence brought in by terrorists, or what we call violent extremism, or violence brought out in our schools for those children who end up, or pupils or students who end up burning schools, even those ones do not bring any benefits in our lives. So it begins from there. That let us be able to peacefully solve our problems. If we have any problem, let us use peaceful means to sort out our problems. Are we together? One time, I like telling those short stories. I believe they will assist you. I'm finishing. Somebody anasikia njaa. Kama unasikia njaa, I'm finishing, Now, a young boy went to the father, who was a university lecturer, and asked the father, "Daddy, in school I have so many enemies. Some are bullying me. Some are stealing my property. Some are harassing me and frustrating me. I want to finish all these enemies. Can you give me a formula for finishing up these enemies? I don't want to have enemies anymore." So the father thought about it and was not able to get a solution. So he went to his fellow professors in the university and asked them, my boy has posed a question to me and asked me how can he be able to finish his enemies? And then they were able to give different opinions on how these enemies can be finished. So some said, why don't you go ahead, tell the boy, mtu akiiba his property, he can go ahead and kill that boy. Akimuua si amemmaliza, the enemy is gone. And then if another one bullies him, he can also clear that one. But then somebody asked them, if you kill the enemy, have you finished the enemy or you have multiplied your enemies? You will realize that you shall have multiplied your enemies. Because if I kill the chairman here and his friends, all his friends will turn up being my enemies because they know I'm the one who has terminated his life. Correct? All his brothers and sisters will be all my enemies. All his uncles and aunties will be my enemies. All the fellow students will all be my enemies. Remember, at first he was the only enemy I had. Now have I finished or multiplied my enemies? So the only way to finish your enemies is to make them your friends. Because if I make him my friend, I have finished the enemy, isn't it? And the enmity. So the best way to finish enemies is to make them our friends. Are we together? So I want us today, as I launch, some of you do not know, we are now today launching a program whereby we want the peace clubs in our schools, okay, to be able to be fully activated and go on to preach peace and to turn all enemies into friends, their friends, and also the friends of their enemies. Are we together? So that wherever we are, in our classrooms, wherever we are, in our schools, let us take each other as brothers and sisters who knows that for us to be able to benefit fully and get the education that we need to have peace wherever we are. I want to finish by saying, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the agents of peace and request you, let us continue to actively involve the young people. Let us leave the idea that we develop things and then we come and impose upon them that this is the best. They themselves know what is best. See, that is true. So let us actively involve them so that we can be able to continue to have ideas from them. So from today, we are now sending you out to be able to be real agents of peace in our various clubs and to involve more people so that we can have peaceful elections and also to be able to ensure that we get rid of or we stop what we call or we counter what we call violent extremism so that we can have a developed society. I want to appreciate just one person as I finish, and this is called Ikram Hashi, who was Ikram Hashi. May you just stand, please. Just stand wherever you are. She is the brain behind this program. The program of involving young people in issues to do with peaceful election. Let us turn this way so that they can be able to see you. So even as we are going to give awards and certificates, let us recognize the fact that she participated actively and is actually the brain behind this particular program, and we intend to tap more talents because I know they are there so that we can be able to expand our family and reach even beyond Kamkunji. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to give back to Mohammed to give us the way forward. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Bwana ACC, and Ikram, job well done. Thank you very much. Job well done. Let's clap for Ikram. Mohammed, why are you lazy? Clap for your colleague. Clap for Ikram. Thank you very much. We are looking forward another agendas from Mohammed, another topics from Mohammed, and the rest of the schools at the same time. So before I close, I would like to thank the patrons we have here. We have a patrons and matron from Zawadi Primary School I would like to request them to stand up and wave their hands to the team. Let's clap for them. This school is called Muhaimin, the home of shining stars. Am I right? Yes. I would like to also recognize the patron from Al-Mansur Academy. Please stand up. Al-Mansur Academy. I would like to recognize the presence of the matron. You know, we have a patron and a matron. Matron is female, patron is male. So we have the patron, the matron of Haidar Junior Secondary School with us. Clap for her. Also we have the matron of Ashrafia Girls, who is out right now, but the president can wave the hand on our behalf. Thank you very much. I would like to invite our chief guest to come and give out these certificates for you guys to attend the workshop, Muhaimin Educational Center. I would like to start from the patron of Muhaimin, Mr. Nicolen Otieno, to come and receive this award.
Excuse me. Now, by the powers granted to me, I award the patron. There's a patron there. Yarabani. Oh. Excuse me. For the wonderful work that he has done. Today we award the patron here the certificate for the work that he has done. And may we all clap for him.
These certificates are for Muhaimin Peace Club members, those who attended the workshop. Hand them over, all of them.
So for those who attended the workshop, thank you.
So Muhaimin, your certificates are here with your patron. Arrange yourselves for a meeting with him and receive your award for the workshop. The next certificate we have is for Zawadi Primary School. The patron, Mr. Samuel Gashiri Benson.
Samuel Gashiri Benson, as the patron who has supported the club, the Peace Club in Zawadi Primary School. Thank you so much, Mwalimu, for the good work that you have done. May God bless you to continue the same spirit. Welcome.
Also, I would like to award the matron of Zawadi Primary School, Madam Mary Karimi Njagi.
Madam Mary Karimi Njagi, for being a wonderful matron of the club that has supported the Peace Club in Zawadi Primary School. Madam, thank you so much. May God bless you. Give you the spirit to continue with the good work.
Yes. These are certificates of Zawadi Peace Ambassadors or Peace Club. I'm handing over to the matron so that they can give to the students.
The Zawadi Peace Ambassadors, we hereby hand over the certificates to Madam, the matron, to be able to hand over to you. These are your certificates and thank you for the good work and may you continue with the same.
The reason as to why we are giving the school is number one, Muhaimin is the first school that have accepted our call for program. And they have organized. That's why we give them certificates. The reason as to why we give certificates to Zawadi Primary School is the reason because the moment we ask them to bring the passport photos for the members, they were number one. The rest of the schools, you have not accepted to organize an event in your school. Number one. Number two, you have not brought your passport photos up to now. I would like to invite the following officials of Zawadi Primary School to be given their badge or ID as Zawadi Peace Ambassadors.
Jeff Mongela. Jeff. Membership Coordinator, Zawadi. Jeff Mongela. Good. Mary Karimi Njagi, the matron. Allow me. Thank you. Nixon Orina, Vice President. Nixon Orina. Fenina Mandala, Activity Coordinator. Haya, to His Excellency the President, Elizabeth Anyangu. Her Excellency. Her Excellency. Oh. Her Excellency the President, Elizabeth Anyangu. That is Her Excellency.
Okay, the rest, this other document we have them here, is for the members.
Now, for the members, we are going to issue them as bulk so that Mwalimu can organize and issue them to the members. Their budgets are here.
The budget. So, Mwalimu,
Benson? Benson Gachiri. Haya.
The patron.
Excuse me. Excuse me, please. Am I excused? For the patron, Benson Gachiri, we also award him.
Thank you very much. Members, please, when you're giving out those things, make sure you invited Area Chief Njoka to be with you in the parade so that he can represent us all. Thank you. So, can I say something? Guys, make sure you deliver your passport photos to us. Make sure you deliver your passport photos to us so that we can prepare your ID cards. This ID card, you see them here, is not something simple. What's written is that Zawadi peace ambassadors. We can have Ashrafia peace ambassadors, Muhaimin peace ambassadors, Mansour peace ambassadors. It is recognized by the administration, Office of the Assistant County Commissioner and Deputy County Commissioner's Office. People have to wear all the time when they're in school. With that few remarks, I would like us to close this activity, and I'm looking forward. Muhaimin, kudos, congratulations. Muhaimin, congratulations. You did a wonderful work. You are the first school in the whole of Kamukunji to come up with a very strong theme. We are looking forward to support you guys again. Another workshops and another activity or event. Make sure you are very active. The rest of the schools, we are challenging you to organize your events and invite other schools. I want to hand over to your head teacher so that we close it. Lakini swali ni, amnipigie makofi ama mtaki?
Aya, we quiet. Hey, wait, Mahad. I want us to finish, and before we finish, we have to thank our guests who honored and spared us their time. So we welcome you back to Muhaimin. So because of time, and I know it is past prayer time for the Muslim brothers, I will allow our guests to leave, and then the students will remain seated. I want within 2 minutes, we give the time to the guests to leave. Thank you very much. Aya, the rest, wait, keep quiet. You people are wasting your time. Where students, that new boy, I will request those 2 boys to remain seated. Hey, where? These 2 boys, you and you. You'll have to remain seated once we are done. You and you'll have to remain there. Because I can gauge you as the most indisciplined students that we are in this forum. So the 2 of you will have to remain seated. You won't pass the entry. So girls from our visiting schools, we allow you to also leave. The girls from the visiting schools, we allow you to leave starting now. The girls from the visiting team. Photo sessions. Oh.
Please come, members.
Sawa. Ambia patron na wanini. Girls